To store our character, we're going to do a couple of little things here. One, I do want to go in and make sure all of my drawing substitutions are zeroed out and just on the very first frame. And two, we'll add this character to a master peg. And one of the things we're going to be doing last is actually storing it into our library. But to do that, what I want to do is come over to my library panel, and I want to open a library. And I've created a folder on my desktop that's called Anatomy V3 _ Camper. Now inside this folder I have different documents for the WereFoot, so I have all of the different harmony documents here, as well as I have camper and the bar scene as a whole. So what I want to do is set it up that I can access this particular folder from inside of Harmony. So go back to Harmony, and I'll right click in the library, and I want to select Open Library. And what I will go and find is the folder that I created. And so there it is, Anatomy V3 _ Camper. And I'll select Choose. Now once that's done, I can come up and right click on the folder and select Write to Modify. And now I can open up the folder. And now that I have that set up, I'll go ahead and select the main directory again. And I'll come back over to set up the master peg on my character. So if I scrub the playhead, you can see that all of the different drawing substitutions are still showing. So what I want to do is open this up a bit and go to the head, and I'll make sure all of the frames are simply showing the first drawing. So we've done that with the head. And we'll come down and look at the arm. And again, I'll select all of the frames, and I'll go over to my parameters, and I'm just going to scrub this so it goes to drawing substitution 2, then just drag it back to 1. And so now we have one of the hands set up so it's only showing the first drawing. And we're not deleting these drawings, we're just setting it up that only the first drawing is showing. And then we find the other arm. And change out the hand here as well. So now I can scrub back and forth and there's no movement, which is good. And we'll now add a master peg. So come over here to the end and click Add Peg. Now, if you aren't able to do that and you get an alarm that you're not able to set up a peg, another way of doing this, I'll do Command Z, is simply select one of the layers and then add a peg. Okay, so we will call this the Bounty Master, and we'll leave the hyphen capital P for peg. And right now this is only the peg over the body bone, but I want to make sure that the rest of the body is actually under that peg. So the peg is the parent here. And I've placed everything back in order. And we'll set our pivot point. So I'll select the transform tool. And if you look, by default, the pivot point is still set dead center. So I'll go up to my advanced animation tools and select rotate. And I will drag this down so the pivot point is right about at the base where the feet are. All right. And so now our pivot is set correctly. And now what I'll do is go ahead and add this to our library. So I'm going to simply click in my layers area right on top of the text. And I'll just drag this straight to the library. And I'll get an option of what I want to name this. I'm going to leave it at the default, which is bounty_master, and then the P for peg. We'll click OK. So now when I go to the directory I created on my computer, I'll see that same file. Let's go to Finder, and I'll go to my folder here, and here is the file I just created. So storing your characters is going to allow you to access them at a later point, as we will do with the bounty character here, because we'll be bringing that into our scene later to animate along with Camper, the bartender, and place all of that into our bar scene.